Officer Foster, we're ready for Cody Soucie, please.
I'll bring him right in.
Thank you.
Mr. Palumbo, you're going to be representing Cody Soucie, is that correct?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, Sal Palumbo, on behalf of Mr. Soucie, I have submitted an appearance in his behalf.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is going to be by video arraignment, and they should be bringing him in any moment.
Yes, sir.
People versus Cody Soucie, state your name, please.
Cody Soucie.
I'm sorry, how do you pronounce your last name, please?
Soucie.
Thank you. Mr. Soucie, you're charged with the offense of operating while intoxicated, causing death. It's alleged that this occurred in the city of Roseville, October the 14th of this year. It is a felony. The maximum punishment is 15 years in prison. You are entitled to a probable cause conference and a preliminary examination hearing. At the preliminary examination hearing, the prosecution is required to show that there is probable cause to believe that this offense was committed and probable cause to believe that you committed this offense. If the matter, if the prosecution were to show that, the matter would be set for trial. You are entitled to be represented by an attorney as you are today. Mr. Palumbo, you are representing Mr. Soucie, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. The court will set this matter for a probable cause conference. That'll be the first hearing date, 1 week from Wednesday, October the 26th at 8:15. If the matter is not resolved that date, it'll be set for November 2nd as a preliminary examination hearing date. Detective Bender, as to his bond.
I was looking at criminal history. There's no criminal history. Driving record shows one accident back in 2010. Request a high bond because of the seriousness of the crime, but I'll leave the dollar amount up to the discretion of the court.
Thank you. Mr. Palumbo, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your client?
Mr. Soucie is 24 years of age. although he is single, he lives with his girlfriend, and he has full custody of his 7-year-old son from a previous relationship. As indicated, he has absolutely no criminal record whatsoever, and he has a full-time job, works in excess of 40 hours a week. Your Honor, he's had no contact with the law previously, although this is a tragedy on both ends, no doubt, and I don't want to lighten what I'm saying about it one bit. It's a tragedy for the family of the victim. It's a tragedy for Mr. Soucie. What I would ask the court is a reasonable bond, wherein he can assist me in his defense. And he's not going to be a threat to the community. He otherwise is a law-abiding citizen. And I would indicate that any conditions that the court wants to place on it, such as a tether or any other condition, I would welcome, in that I need his assistance in defending him, and as the facts develop, I think that it will be shown that the charges aren't necessarily where it should be. So I would ask the court to consider that.
Thank you. Mr. Soucie, where do you live, please?
Roseville,
What's your address?
26820 LaSalle.
Who do you live there with, please?
My parents,
And how long have you lived there?
about 4 months now.
Your Honor, if I
He
may.
said he's living with his parents. I thought you said he was living on his own.
No, here's what's going on. They moved back in with mother and dad so that they could save for a house.
Who is that? Him and his child?
His father was present in the courtroom, and they're living with them presently so that they can save for a house.
And you've been there 4 months, is that correct?
Yes, about 4 months.
Is it true that you have no criminal record?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever failed to appear in court for any reason?
No, sir.
And where do you work, please?
Overhead conveyor,
And how long have you worked there?
about 4 years.
In setting bond, the court has to take into consideration several factors. Defendant's prior criminal record, he has no record based on Detective Bender's statement, and also based on Mr. Soucie's his own statement and the statements made by his attorney. Second factor is his record of appearance or non-appearance. We have no evidence at all that he's ever failed to appear in court. His history of substance abuse or addiction, the court has no evidence that he has any history. However, he is charged with operating while intoxicated in this case, unfortunately causing death. So that is a factor that the court will consider. The next factor is defendant's mental condition, including character and reputation for dangerousness. Again, there's nothing before the court which would lend itself to show that the defendant has any aberrant mental illness or condition. The court also has to look at the seriousness of the offense charged. This obviously is a serious offense. It's a felony punishable by up to 15 years. The court rule goes on to say that the court has to look at the presence or absence of threats. There's nothing here regarding threats, and the probability of conviction and likely sentence. Now this is simply an arraignment, so no testimony has been taken yet. The court has nothing before it which would give any evidence as to the probability of conviction, at least not at this stage, possibly at the preliminary examination hearing that will come out. Defendant's employment status, he states he's been working at the same job for 4 years. And his financial history, the court has no financial history, although either he did or his family hired an attorney today. The availability of responsible members of the community who would vouch for him. I haven't heard much about that, except that he is apparently living with his parents, and I was told that his father is here. That's what Mr. Gamble states. Facts indicating ties to the community, family ties, that is basically the same as the last factor, and any other facts bearing on the risk or non-appearance or danger to the public. When this is boiled down, what the court really needs to look at is his risk of non-appearance or danger to the public. There's nothing that would lead this court to believe that the defendant is not going to appear in court. He's hired an attorney. It appears he does have family ties. He doesn't have any warrants out for his arrest. He doesn't have any criminal record. When you look to the factor of danger to the public, again, he does not have a criminal record. However, this is a serious offense. It's alleged, and a warrant has been authorized by the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office charging him with operating while intoxicated, causing death. Considering all those factors, the court is going to set the bond in the amount of $100,000, 10%, which means that that would have to be posted in order for the defendant to be released. Also, if the defendant is released, I'm ordering that there be no use of drugs, there's to be no drinking. If he is released, he's to be placed on an alcohol tether prior to release. And what that means, Mr. Soucie, if you were to be released, you have to wear this tether. The tether takes numerous readings throughout the day. If you drink at all, the information is forwarded to the court, and we would know that within 1 day, and that would be grounds to revoke your bond. Also, given the nature of the charge, I'm ordering that you surrender your driver's license and you not drive, given the fact that you're charged with this offense. You'll be back in court October 26th at 8:15.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.